So this video is on your first animate class exercise. So this one's very simple. I like you to draw your name. So draw your name using shapes or the pen tool. So I'll go first. I'll use mine. So here we go. Here's a rectangle tool. And I'm going to write yin with this. And you might be wondering how I'm going to do that. Okay, so I'm going to double click on here. And then I'm going to use the transform tool. I guess I haven't shown you the transform tool yet. So if you double click on your shape here, make sure that you double click. If you only click once, you only select the fill. So double click and go over here to transform, free transform. And here you have this circle here, okay, in the middle. That's your anchor point. So if you, it means that it will rotate from that point. So if I click and drag, or see it rotates from there, right? So there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want it to happen. But if I wanted it to rotate from a different spot, I would move that circle. So now again, I'm going to double click on this right shape. I click on it and I'm going to move that white thing, click and drag it to this corner. And then I rotate from that corner. There we go. And now I'm double click again and I'm going to move it over here. And I feel like this shape is too wide. Oh, I didn't double click. So I'm going to double click on this and make my shape more narrow and move it over here. There we go. And then I'm just going to click on this once and maybe move out of my free transform. Click on it once, delete, click on this, delete. Or I can just double click on all the stroke and just delete that. So I'm going to zoom in here. So there's a bit of untidiness there. I can just use my lasso tool and click away at that untidiness, and then I can zoom out, alt zoom out there. There you go. Using the hand tool, I move it around. There we go. There's my Y. I would like a big thick stroke around it, so I'm going to go over here and click and hold down my ink bottle, and I don't want a purple stroke. I want like a nice black stroke. And I'm going to play around with some of these styles here. I'm going to play around with ragged, and the width would be, and the stroke size would be, actually, let's see, 13, or maybe a little bit smaller than that, 10. I'm going to click on the outside. There we go. And I can see that, oh, that doesn't look so good there. So I'm going to go to Paint Bucket and, click on that shape there. Actually zoom in. I'm using Control Plus right now and Space Bar to get the pan and Control Plus to get the zoom in. Okay, so I'm gonna click on this shape and then actually click on that, and then I'm gonna go over here, click on the stroke and go over here, and oh, I'm not able to. Maybe I'll delete that. Very good. And then now I'm gonna click in there. Doesn't look like I'm able to change that. Okay, there we go. So I clicked on the stroke and now it has sort of moved around, but it's not the smoothest, as you can see. Okay, so I'm just showing you that things might not look quite perfect. So let's go see what we can do about that. So select all the stroke size and maybe I'll move it down. Maybe I'll move that, sorry, double click on the stroke, and maybe I'll move the stroke size up a little bit. There we go. So there you go. So that is a better match with the fill. Okay, when I have the stroke size a bit smaller, down a bit smaller. When a stroke size gets really big, it the shape doesn't quite conform to the space inside of it. All right, so I'm gonna finish with my name, my full name. So Yin. Here we go. And of course, for the middle one here, I'm going to use my transform tool. And oh, I didn't select both, so double click. And there we go. Move that over. Go. And I'm just gonna select that there. Okay. Zoom in there and see what's going on there. Go. and select that shape and get rid of that. There we go. And so the drawing tool is not perfect, but I think that's quite good here. And then I'm going to next show that I can use eraser tool. So I'm just going to go maybe across once. And you can really do any kind of decorative thing that you like to do with yours. Really, it doesn't have to look like mine, but I do want to see that you can use your, okay. Oh, I'm going to use my ink bottle tool. Click and so what I want to see is that you know how to draw with, you know what, I think I like it better without the stroke done there. Do stroke, okay? So it's up to you what you want to do. I want you to take the time and be creative with your name. I don't want you to use the type tool to draw your name. I want you to create shapes, okay? If you would prefer, you can also create shapes using the pen tool. You don't have to use the shape tool. But we have already had a lot of experience with the pen tool if you've taken Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop and InDesign. So if that's the case, and I'd like you to experiment with the shape tool, experiment with, you know, your brush tool as well in Photoshop. Okay, there you go, and you know, see what you can come up with. All right. So there's no wrong or right. I just want to see some experimentation on your site. After you are done, I would like you to go to File, Save As, and if you could just save it. Oh, actually not Save As, because I actually like you to export it. So if you could go, please, to File, Export. So Export Image. All right. And we should have window show up, so you can just export it as a GIF. GIF file and go save. Okay, and if you could just you know, create a folder for all your work in 3205, so you can call this folder Animate. Okay, and then name this one in exercise 1 and save it, and this is what you would submit for your class exercise 1 for Animate for today's class.